I got inspired to make this film when I heard about Citizens United, and that's the Supreme Court decision that a lot of people summarize it as just saying that money is speech and corporations are people. You know, we track the influence, the kind of secret, hidden influence of money in politics. And when you have political power, money is always going to chase it. That's always been true. But we've always had laws in place that try to disclose that money and to disclose where that influence is coming from. The scariest thing I learned was that even though we were able to track the influence of this money and to see who was involved in all of this, we could do so because we could kind of connect the dots in this analog fashion, like we had a paper trail. The scariest thing is when you imagine what happens when you don't have a paper trail, when all of that information and false advertising is happening in a digital sphere. 3/4 of the American people, really, when you poll them consistently since Citizens United passed, what people say is that they want to reform the way that we fund our campaigns, that we want to change the influence that money has in our politics. So we've been able to, with a kind of concerted outreach campaign for our film, to put the film in the hands of these people, these groups, these everyday citizens who just want to change the impact that money has in our political system and to put power back in the hands of people instead of a couple billionaires yelling at each other. More than anything else, what I want people to walk out of the theater with is to just be really engaged in their government, engaged in the politics around them. I know that sounds kind of really simple and kind of basic civics 101 lesson, but our film is really a nonpartisan film. It doesn't have to do with being on one side of the political aisle or the other. It corresponds to the way that the vast majority of the American public feels and worldwide public feels about how democracy, with a small d, right, how that should run. There's this expression that if you're not at the table, you're probably on the menu. I think that's really true. And that's how money in politics works. That's what motivated me to make this film, to disclose how these secret, conduits of money buy influence with elected officials. And if the American public can get really engaged in democracy, that's the biggest thing that's going to overturn this system.